Hi, welcome to online classes. Today we will be starting with two new topics, features of e-commerce and methods of electronic payments. Now let us start with features of e-commerce. You can see there are 8 different features. Under that, first one is ubiquity. E-commerce is ubiquitous because it is present everywhere and you can access it from anywhere. Usually what happens in traditional business, you go to shop to buy or sell any product. But in e-commerce it is different. You have a virtual space. You can call it as a market space where you can buy and sell things. But what was happening in traditional business, there was a marketplace. In e-commerce you have market space. And this also reduces the transaction costs such as phone calling, then filling information, recording information of transactions. All this is reduced and it is reducing the cognitive energy also. Usually what happens in the traditional business, you go to shop to buy and sell things, there is physical energy involved and mental stress, what to select, and then you spend lots of time outside. But in e-commerce, you need not spend more time outside. You can reduce your transportation cost and your physical energy also. You can sit back at home and select whatever you want. So that is why one of the feature is ubiquity. The next point is global reach. One of the feature of e-commerce is global reach because there is no particular boundary for selling your product. In traditional commerce, you had shop, and if you have shop in Bangalore and in specific area, your customers stay only within that area and you will be able to sell the product only within that area. But in e-commerce, as there is no specific boundary, you can reach the customer throughout the globe. And the market size of the company is also huge when compared to the traditional commerce. Then we have universal standard. In traditional business, to set up any business in any country, you will have different rules and regulation and different standards, and the entry cost is also more. But in e-commerce, there is no such different standards for each country. It is universal standard to use internet. There is no restriction or different rules in each country. So that time what happens, the entry cost reduces and it is very easy to create website. Next point is social technology. E-commerce has changed the way of doing business itself. You can see business organization selling their product through various social networks like Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram and YouTube channels. Earlier it was not like that. You could see only the advertisement through television or newspaper. But nowadays, people have started using various social networks to sell their products or advertise their products. Just not business organization, consumer themselves, if they like the product, they have started giving their opinions, and based on the opinions, the other consumers are buying the product. That is why one of the key feature of e-commerce is social technology. Next point is personalization and customization. So technology will allow you to send personalized messages to the customers. So what will happen if you are able to send a personal message to your customers? It is going to increase the efficiency of the business and effectiveness of selling the product also. Usually in the messages you will be able to see new products which has been launched by the company or their new collection. All such messages is usually sent to the customers. And even you will be able to customize the product according to each customer. The best example is Amazon. If you go to Amazon, if you have your own account, as soon as you open, you will get various suggestions to buy. And all such suggestion is based on your previous searches or previous browsing history. So what appears in your Amazon account does not appear the same in my Amazon account, because whatever you have browsed will not be the same as mine. So such customization and personalization can be done through e-commerce. The next point is information density. Because of change in technology, you are able to get vast information through internet, and you will be able to compare the price of the product from different websites, and you can decide, is it reasonable to buy the product at particular price. Because of this, there is very less price discrimination, and price transparency is availed because of e-commerce. And then you have interactivity. E-commerce has enabled the business to reach the customers and interact with them regarding the product, and they are able to get the feedback about the product. For instance, if you find any hindrance in any of the product, you can call to the customer care services, and they are going to interact with the customer and give the solution to the problem, or they can send even the customer service person to repair the product. The next point is richness. Usually in traditional business, there was person-to-person interaction, whereas in e-commerce there is no person-to-person interaction, face-to-face interaction. So they make use of audio, video, animation and visualization of product. So the chances of liking the product is more when compared to the traditional business, because when you use audio, video and other mechanism to sell the product, it creates the richness for the product, and it is more attractive for the customers to buy the product. So this is all about features of e-commerce. Let us go through it once again. So ubiquity means you can buy the product from anywhere. Global reach means you can sell the product throughout the countries. There is no national boundary. Then universal standard means there is a standard rules and regulation, and it is the same across the globe. And then social technology, to promote your product, you make use of social networks such as Facebook, Instagram and so on. And then personalization and customization. Because of e-commerce, you will be able to customize the product and personalize messages for each customer differently. And then you have information density. Because of change in technology, the amount of information that you get is vast, and you can take up the decision on your own because of the availability of information. Then interactivity, you'll be able to interact with the customers to sell the product or give the services of the product. Then richness, you make use of audio, video and other visualization to sell the product, which makes the product more attractive and rich. So that is all about features of e-commerce. Next we will be starting with modes of electronic payments. Under modes of electronic payments, first thing that you have is credit card. Let me read out this. Payment using credit card is one of the most common mode of electronic payment. Yes, there are various kind of electronic payments, but debit card, credit card is most commonly used. Credit card is small plastic card with a unique number attached with an account. What you see here is a credit card model. This is also called as plastic card. Even your debit card is called as a plastic card. What you see here, this is the unique number, and this number and your bank account number is not the same. It is two different numbers. It has also a magnetic strip embedded in it, which is used to read credit card via card readers. What you see here is a magnetic strip. So if you put your debit card or credit card into ATM, there will be a card reader inside the ATM machine. So that machine is going to read through the magnetic strip which is there in your debit card or credit card. When a customer purchases a product via credit card issuer bank pays on behalf of the customer, and customer has a certain time period after which he has to pay it. For example, if I have a credit card from Canara Bank, then this Canara Bank is called as issuer bank. Now if I go to some shopping and if I use my credit card and I swipe it, then the Canara Bank is going to pay on behalf. That means that I need not have any account balance or money in my bank account. Without even having money in my bank account, the bank is going to pay on behalf of me. That is why it is called as credit card. you are going to buy everything on credit, but you got to pay at the end of the month. Usually it is a monthly cycle. If you don't pay it at the end of the month, then the interest is charged, or else there is no interest charged for your credit card. The interest rate for your credit card is usually high when compared to the other loan interest. It is actually twice than the loan interest which you get. This is all about credit card. Then we have factors of credit card system. The card holder, that is the customer. Suppose if I have Canara Bank credit card, then I am the card holder, I am the customer. The merchant, the seller of the product who can accept the credit card payments. Suppose if I buy something in Big Bazaar, and the Big Bazaar is a merchant, because he is accepting the credit card payment, he is the merchant. Then the card issuer bank, that is the card holders bank. So I have the credit card of Canara Bank, so the Canara Bank is a issuer bank. The acquire bank, the merchant's bank. So Big Bazaar might have a swiping machine from HDFC Bank, then the HDFC Bank is called a acquirer bank. The card brand, for example Visa or MasterCard. So again in this card you can see that this is a MasterCard. So it can be Visa or MasterCard. Those are the people who are going to process the transaction. So that is the card brand. Now let us look into credit card payment process. You can see there are 5 parties here. One is card holder, merchant, acquirer bank, credit card network, and issuing bank. First, what happens, the card holder will apply for a credit card through a issuing bank, and the issuing bank will process the credit card and they will give it to the card holder. Once the purchase is done through the merchant, then the merchant sends the batch of approved transaction to the acquirer. So what will happen, once the transaction is done through the merchant, they will send it to the acquirer bank, that is the merchant's bank. As the credit card holder will swipe the credit card through the merchant's machine, it will directly go to the merchant's bank, that is the acquirer bank. Once it goes to the acquirer bank, the acquirer forwards the batch to the credit card network for the settlement. They will send it to the credit card network. Your Visa, MasterCard, Chase, they are the credit card networks who are going to maintain all the transactions. Once it is sent to the credit card networks, it will go to the issuing bank, that is the Canara Bank, which I have. I am the card holder, which I have. The credit card network sends the each approved transaction to the appropriate issuing bank. Once it goes to the issuing bank, again the issuing bank will approve the transaction, and the issuing bank transfers the fund to the acquirer and less an interchange fee. They will charge an interchange fee and they will approve the transaction, and they will give the money to the issuing bank through whom? Through the credit card network. The credit card network pays the acquirer its percentage of remaining funds, and they are going to charge some percentage, and it is going to the acquire bank. Once it goes to acquire bank, the acquirer credits the merchant less the merchant discount rate, as the merchant is having the ATM machine. It is actually given by the acquirer bank. So whatever the machine the seller will have, that is given by the acquirer bank itself. It is not purchased privately from somewhere else. It is given by the banks, as the merchant will have a current account. When they have current account only, they can have the machine with them. Merchant can have a machine with them. The acquirer credits the merchant less a merchant discount rate. They are going to charge for having that machine, and that is sent, and the remaining amount is sent to the merchant. The issuing bank posts the transaction to the cardholder's account, and the cardholder pays the bill. So once all is done, the issuing bank is going to send the message to the cardholder that the transaction has been completed. Now let's go through debit card. Your debit card and credit card looks alike. the feature of the plastic card is one and the same. This is also called as plastic card and it has a unique number just like your credit card. The major difference between debit card and credit card is you should have balance in your bank account. Without having money in your bank account, you cannot purchase anything using a debit card. Here the issuer bank is not going to pay on behalf of you. You yourself are going to pay for all the purchases that you have made. And usually you use debit card instead of carrying cash or giving checks. This is all about debit card. It is quite similar to your credit card itself, but you should have money in your bank account. Next we have smart card. This is also quite similar to your debit card and credit card. The major difference between these two is this has microprocessor chip embedded in the card, whereas the debit card and credit card have magnetic strip embedded in the card. The feature of this microprocessor chip is that you can store customer work related and personal information, and whatever the information has been stored in the card is encrypted, means it is coded. So usually nowadays even the debit card and credit card are having microprocessor. The recent debit card and credit card are having microprocessor in the card itself, because there was a fear that when you swipe the card in any of the restaurants, there was a fear that your data will be stolen. The data regarding the card will be stolen. But in case of smart card, you cannot keep your card for longer time in the machine. Nowadays using smart card, you can just scan the details of the card, and everything is encrypted. It is coded. No one can read it. The user of the card, the other users of the card cannot see the information. And it has also got PIN of customer. When you do any transaction, you should use the PIN for the transaction. This is all about my smart card. Then you have e-money. Let me read out. E-money transaction refers to situation where payment is done over the network. So if you make any payment using any internet, then it is called e-money, and amount gets transferred from one financial body to another financial body without any involvement of middlemen. That means there is no physical interaction between bank and customer. It is just a bank and customer or a merchant. Everything happens over internet. E-money transactions are faster, convenient, and saves lot of time, because you need not go to bank or you need not go to the merchant. You can directly send through internet. That is why it is so convenient and it saves a lot of time. Online payment done via credit card, debit card, or smart card are examples of e-money transaction. So if you want to send money through debit card and credit card is also possible. If you go to Amazon, if you buy something, there will be net banking option or debit card or smart card. There also you can give the unique number and PIN of your debit card and debit card, smart card, or credit card, and you can transact the purchase. Another popular example is e-cash. In case of e-cash, both customer and merchant both have to sign up with bank or company using e-cash. So because it's not from one side, both the end you're sending money to some person virtually, so both have to log into e-cash. Next we have electronic fund transfer. Under this, what you do is you can transfer money from one person to another person. Instead of depositing money from one account to another account, you can use internet network and transfer money from one bank account to another bank account. And usually the fund transfer is done through internet or ATMs. There are very few ATMs where you can avail the service of transferring amount from one bank to another. Usually there is withdrawing option itself. There are few banks which have option of transferring money from one bank account to another bank account. If you are using internet, then you got to register all the details of the receiver of the amount. If you want to send money to person B, then you should give all the details of the person B, his name and the bank account what he has and IFSC code. All such details should be given, and you have to register his bank account. Suppose if he is having the bank account as same as your bank account, if you both are having account in Canara Bank itself, then it can process within 1 day. Suppose if you are having account in Canara Bank and he is having account in HDFC Bank, then it will take at least 1 day to register, and that registration is done through automated clearing house. Once the amount is transferred, then the customer will get notified, and you will get notified that the money is transferred to person B. So this is all about today's topic. If you have any doubt, please revert me back. I shall explain it once again. Thank you.